Let's now look at some distortions in product cost and the role of activity-based costing. Conventional volume-based product costing fails to capture the costs and implications of product diversity. So when cost plus pricing is used, high volume and relatively simple products may be overpriced, and low volume and complex products may be underpriced because it doesn't actually identify all the activities that are included in making the product. So with activity-based costing, this measures the extent to which each product consumes key support activities and provides more accurate product costs to inform prices. When we start to look at new products, there are a range of strategies that we need to think of. The newer concept of the product, the more difficult is the pricing decision. So let's look at a couple of different types of pricing decision. So with skimming pricing, a high initial price for a new product is included to reap high short-term profits. Usually we do this with must-have technology products. So with the first Apple iPhones, high price. Everyone wanted them, and the quality and image was consistent with that high price. And over time the price may be lowered, so we now see that the Apple iPhone is coming out in a cheaper model. So that's a skimming price, where you want to actually get a high profit in the first year or so of the product's life, and then be prepared to reduce those prices and reduce your profit. Then there's penetration pricing for a new product, where you'll make the initial price of the new product low to attract market share, and then you may increase the product price later on. When we're looking at pricing for competitive bidding, when we've got two or more companies submitting sealed bids or prices for a product or a project to a potential buyer for the product, for the supplier, the cost analysis involves similar issues to that for accepting or rejecting a special order. If the supplier has spare capacity, and if the price bid exceeds the incremental costs of producing the product, this will contribute towards covering the supplier's fixed costs and generating a profit. So we're really looking at the capacity of the organisation and whether or not the price of the product will actually contribute towards covering the fixed costs. If the supplier has no spare capacity, then we've got to consider the incremental costs and the opportunity costs of setting a price for this. So that the bid price should cover the opportunity cost. And at this point, if you don't remember what opportunity cost is, look at the textbook for the definition of an opportunity cost, or go back to your economics notes and think about what opportunity cost is. Bid price is going to be higher where spare capacity may be higher where the spare capacity exists. Marketing and strategic issues are difficult to quantify, but they may lead to a supplier offering a lower bid price. So it may be important to get this particular market in order to grow a market in this area in future. So if you're tendering for a job, you may tender at a lower price to get the market now, but on the basis of doing this, you expect to get more work from this organisation. So let's have a look at the example on page 964 where there is spare capacity. We've got the direct labour hours. We've got 1,500 hours at $22 per hour, giving us $33,000. We've got the direct materials, which were $30,000. The supplies, $7,500. So our total incremental costs are $70,500. Our fixed overhead was 1,500 hours at $8 an hour, which is 12,000, and our total cost is 82,500. So where there is spare capacity, any price that gives us a return of more than 70,500 will enable the business to contribute to covering fixed costs and making some profit. So a price set on that basis will be appropriate. There are a number of legal restrictions to pricing. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has power to outlaw a number of behaviours. So for predatory pricing, when a company reduces their prices to force a competitor out of the market. And have a look at the real life example on page 966 of the text for predatory pricing. There's also price discrimination, where a company offers different prices to different customers for the same goods or services, and that's not allowed under the law. There's also resale price maintenance, where a supplier dictates the minimum prices that goods or services are to be resold by a buyer to the retail or wholesale market. So a supplier can't dictate that, but if a supplier finds that the goods or services are being sold at a lower price, then sometimes the supplier will actually remove those goods from that retail or wholesale market, because they want to maintain a price that indicates the quality of the goods that they're selling. And this often happens with wine, where a seller or the manufacturer of the wine wants to have the wine priced at the top end of the market to indicate the quality, and doesn't sell through places like Dan Murphy's, because Dan Murphy's might discount the price, and they don't want that to happen. There's also legal restrictions about price fixing contracts, so that arrangements that result in the fixing, control or maintenance of prices or goods and services. So that's a brief summary about some of the pricing issues. The key thing is to consider some of the cost plus pricing methods, and be able to do some of those.